Welcome back to the So Blessed channel, guys. Today we're making smothered pork chops. We're going to season these center cut pork chops up with some Tony's, a little bit of adobo, and a Sazon package. Let's get to it, guys. Now it's time to dredge these babies in some flour. Let's get it going, guys. We're going to hit this flour with some adobo, come back with a little bit of Tony's. Yes, the pork chops are already seasoned, but we got to make sure that that flour is seasoned as well, because that's the first thing you taste, right? Okay, let's get it going. Okay, make sure you flour these things well, guys, because remember, we want these to come out nice and crispy so that it holds up to the gravy that we're going to smother it in later. Okay, flour all areas, guys, all around the sides, the top, the bottom. Yes, get it all floured up well. Okay, next we're gonna deep fry these until they're nice and crispy. Yes, and now we're gonna make the gravy. We're gonna use some of the oil from the pan that we used to fry them to make the gravy. Just cover the bottom of the pan. That should be more than enough. Okay, and then we're gonna throw in our onions, get them nice and tender. We're gonna also add a small can of mushrooms to that. And I'm putting the mushrooms in now because I wanna cook some of that canned taste out. And remember, mushrooms take on the flavor that you add to it. So cooking it in the oil with the onions gives it the onion flavor. And we're gonna also throw in about 3/4 of a cup of flour. Remember, we're making a lot of gravy because we want to smother these pork chops, right? It's not gravy that you're going to put on top of rice. It's gravy that we're going to use to smother the pork chops. So about 3/4 of a cup here. Just kind of get that in there real good. We're cooking that flour. We're cooking the onions and the mushrooms all together so it has that combination of flavors. Okay, so now that we can no longer see white flour, it's all been combined. It's looking a little dry in that pan, right? So here's where the magic happens. We're gonna use some chicken stock, beef stock, vegetable stock, whatever your preference is, and we're gonna deglaze the bottom of this pan, and we're not gonna add all of it at one time. This is really where you need to take your time and add little by little. And eventually I'll use about 3/4 of this container. But the reason why I'm doing it little by little is because I'm also continuing to cook that flour, but I'm also not wanting to use a whisk to scratch up the bottom of my pan. So doing it little by little ensures that you have a smooth consistency, smooth textured gravy, and you also will be reassured that that flour is well done, okay? And I'll show you how to darken this up. Okay guys, this is how we add color to our gravy. Yeah, Gravy Master, just a small drop at a time. I will generally do this about twice, but try just one drop and then stir it up, see if it's the color that you like. If you want a little bit darker, then you add just another drop or two, but that should be plenty. And then we'll put the lid on this guy and let it start to boil a little bit, and then the gravy will get thicker and thicker. Once it comes to a ball, maybe a couple of minutes, then you can look at it and see if the gravy will coat the back of your spoon. It's to the right thickness that you like. Now you can put your pork chop in and begin to smother them. I usually put them in and then I spoon some of that gravy on top, flip it over, and then put the lid on. Turn the stove down very low, just to a simmer, and put the lid back on and just let it do its thing. Okay, how do you know when it's done? Well, the gravy's done, the meat is done, but you want them to get nice and tender, so when you're able to take your fork and cut your pork chop with a fork, they're ready to come out. On occasion, I just will open the lid, take the lid off, and just scoop some of that gravy on them, flip them over a couple of times at least. Okay guys, it's time to eat. I prefer my smothered pork chops over rice, but if you like potatoes, that's your thing. Enjoy. Until the next time, stay blessed and see you in the next video.